orientation. So, like over the summer, you and I were supposed to get together to tutor your son, right? But a few things happened. We, schedules and lives, or whatever, didn't so we couldn't get together. So when we finally did get together, um, you were like, "Oh my God, I need help." My son won't read and everything like that. So, what were some of the challenges you were experiencing before?
Like he knew the alphabet, but he just didn't know how to put the letters together. So I was teaching him letter sounds and stuff, and it was just frustrating because he didn't have an interest, and he would cry every time I said, "Come, let's read something." He would have a fit. And I'm like, what's going on? And some words that I think he should know, he didn't. And so I said, you know what? I need help with this. So that's when I reached out to
But
you.
that's so funny because, like, when I assessed him, he did very well. He did very well. I'm like, okay, but but I've seen that's like a common thing, like with a lot of parents. They tell me what the issue is, and then when I actually go and meet up with them and then assess them, it turns out to be, not as dramatic as they think that it is. Okay, so, to help develop and strengthen your child's reading, in between our sessions, what have you been doing?
Oh, well, I went out and bought him some more books, more grade level stuff, because I guess my stuff was probably too much. So I went out and got him some more grade level books, and sitting here a lot of times with you, I got to learn some of the rules and all that stuff. So between the time that you would come, sit with him, have him read to me, or I would read to him, and just, we practice the words that you leave us.
Yes, a lot of the stuff that I leave you.
Yes, all the material. So, yeah, that's what I do between, the time.
The times, okay, all right. And so, do you have to consistently remind him of his reading strategies, the rules, some of the time, all the time, or just a little bit of the time?
In the beginning, it was all the time.
Yeah.
But then as he progressed, it was a little at a time. And so sometimes now I just, let him figure it out. And he will figure it out right now. I'm like...
Yeah, and then you can ask him also, like what I do is I'm like, how did you know that? Just to see if he's actually remembering those rules and strategies or whatever. So, and it's only been I think 5 or 6 weeks that you and I, since, we first started working with him and everything together. So, would you say he's more motivated, comfortable, or confident in his reading and his phonics skills and strategies and everything?
He's way more confident now because I'm his biggest cheerleader. I put pom-poms on, girl. When he says a word that normally he would stumble over, I just get so excited. So he's more confident because he's getting that boost, and because he knows how proud I am right now, he likes to do it. So now he wants to read to me. He'll ask, "Can I read this to you?" Or, he'll even go to his sister, and she was like, "Yeah, he keeps coming to me wanting to read to me," and I'm like, "That's exciting." So,
right.
Yeah.
So he's now taking the initiative on his own to want to read, and that's an awesome thing, because that's why I tell all of my parents, like, you want your kids to get to the point of self-sufficiency, and that way they don't have to keep running to you. They may need a little bit of help, but when they get to the point of self-sufficiency, that frees up a lot of parenting time, so what advice would you give other parents that are experiencing reading challenges with their kids?
Okay, well, the main thing is seek help. Okay, a lot of parents, they're ashamed or afraid to say, my kid has a learning problem, or my kid has issues, and then they stay there with the silence, and eventually the kid won't read or the kid won't progress, academically. Seek help. That's my main advice to parents. If you see that your child is struggling, don't sit there and watch this child struggle just because it embarrasses you. go out and seek help. So eventually, like, I was, a little, but now I'm free to say, hey, read something to somebody else, and don't feel bad, because now when he goes to church, he's reading. And,
Wow,
everybody's
awesome.
like, okay. So eventually, you'll see the rewards. So just seek help. That's my main plea to parents. Don't be ashamed. It only hurts the kids.
So do you think is more of them being ashamed, or do you think it could be financial, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. Yeah, a little bit of both.
Especially now with the pandemic going on and everything like that.
A lot of parents are unemployed, and so they can't afford it. And a lot of the parents aren't literate themselves.
Exactly.
And that hurts the kids, because who's helping?
Yeah.
So if we don't get help for the kids from outside, and we can't do it on the inside, then that whole family is in trouble.
Of course, and so that's why I'm so happy when you told me that you were actually, having a little fundraiser for parents to be able to get these tutoring services, whether it's reading, math, science, whatever it is, so they
subject.
can, and you can help them pay from the money that you raise to pay for those services. That's an amazing thing, because honestly, truth be told, if a parent is really, if they don't have a lot of money, and they can come up with the money some kind of way, and they get a little bit of help, I would say for about a month, and if they sit and watch what the tutor is doing, you know what I mean? Because really, honestly, it's either you sit here and watch what the tutor is doing, okay, or you figure out how to get the money, okay, or you continue to be embarrassed. And me personally, if you figured out how to get the money, but it's not going to be for a very long time, but you only have a certain amount of money, then you sit there and you watch what the tutor is doing. So you can use those same strategies,
after a few sessions,
patience.
right?
Yes.
Because like right now, I know I could, help my son to move forward, but it's the patience.
It's the patience.
But it's easier now, though. In the beginning, it was really hard, but now it's a lot easier having you come around, and you are awesome with the kids, by the way, I'm just saying. Because how I got to even meet you was through a video you posted of another kid reading. Yeah. And so I'm like, she can do that for them. She can definitely do that for me.
Exactly.
And that's why I, came up with the idea of the fundraiser. Because, like you said, even just a few sessions, then they can take it from there, and they have the skills now to help their kid. Even just reminding them of the rules, the simple things like putting a couple letters together to make certain sounds, the simple things.
Right.
Because you come with the simple strategies. You know what you're doing. So you give us the basics. So as long as we're paying attention.
As long as you're paying attention.
Right.
And not only that, I provide the parents with
material.
The strategies, the material. I'm writing notes and everything. It's like I'm not trying to break anybody's pockets. You know what I mean? Because I know the purpose behind this. Like there's another young lady I work with, but sometimes is after we're done with her reading, sometimes I help her with her math, and then I had to tell her, like, I didn't learn how to multiply until 5th grade. You in 3rd grade. Like I taught my daughter in 2nd grade how to multiply, right? But I didn't have that extra help, and so like I have to constantly remind these kids, like, don't give up on yourself so fast. And I think that's what a lot of it is. It's like the parents don't have the patience, okay? And then the kids see that the parents don't have the patience. So what is going to make them do? Give up on themselves and don't have the patience. So a lot of this really is just about patience. Like reading strategies and phonics and all that really is a skill. Just like riding a bike. You know what I mean? So it takes time or whatever, and so like really honestly, if the parents can just sit and watch what the tutor is doing, and that's any tutor, like really honestly, they will be able to do it themselves or whatever. So thank you.
Oh, you're
Stacia. I really appreciate this, and I really enjoy that you're like trying to help other parents.
Yes. Yeah, if I could just help a few parents, because I know kids reached out to me to help with other subjects because I'm good with math.
Okay.
So all the math problems come to me. You're the reading person, so we'll send all of that to you.
Right.
So
I'm gonna have to remember that because I have had some people like, "Oh, you don't do math?" No, I don't do math.
Yeah.
And
See,
I
I'm
don't
great
know
with
anyone
math.
who does the math.
But
you
then
know?
there's some of the new age stuff that they're teaching nowadays that I'm like, the poor kids don't even understand because one of the kids sent me some of her work and I was looking over it and it's like foreign language. So
because they're not learning.
they're
like
not
how we did.
learning, right? And so when the teacher gives this quick 10-minute lesson and then sends them off to do independent work or testing or whatever, they're clueless.
They're clueless. Yeah.
So if we could just get, a few
and
people
if the
in a few
parents
homes,
are clueless
right?
and the kids are clueless, then
Right. So that's why we need tutors.
Right.
So we need people to come
With
in
these
every
kids,
subject
there
and
is
help these
something.
kids one-on-one, group sessions, whatever.
yes.
But we need these kids learning.
Exactly.
And some of the parents just
Exactly.
can't do it on their own.
Can't do it, and a lot of times, if they're struggling with reading comprehension, they're not going to do well.
All the
with
other
math.
subjects get affected
Yeah.
because if there's a math problem and they can't read, how you
Exactly.
gonna read the math problem?
Right, because when you can't even comprehend, your
Right.
reading questions or whatever. So yeah, it starts with the reading first, and I am here to help in any kind of way that I possibly
Awesome.
can.
I do appreciate you. You're the best. You're like a lifesaver for me.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Stacia.
All right. That was awesome.